This episode is brought to you by Global X. Since 2008, Global X ETFs has been committed to empowering investors with unexplored, intelligent solutions. Global X specializes in exchange-traded funds that offer exposure to the artificial intelligence ecosystem, including themes like data centers, robotics, semiconductors, and cloud computing. To learn more about Global X's entire suite of ETFs, from covered calls, fixed income, emerging markets, and more, visit globalxetfs.com.
This episode is brought to you by Audi. The road is calling. Embrace the thrill of the drive with the all-new, fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron. Featuring effortless power, serious acceleration, and advanced Audi tech. It's not just a new EV, it's a new way to experience driving. The all-new, fully electric Audi Q6 e-tron is here. The next chapter of Audi starts now.
Good morning, guys, and welcome to the podcast. From Los Angeles, I've got Devan Gonzalez, and he is in the personal development and fitness space. And so for the audience, if you are interested in entrepreneurship, fitness, weight loss, and personal development, Devan's your guy. And I always say that entrepreneurship and fitness and personal development all go together because it's a journey, and more and more people are going on this journey. Devan, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. This is an honor.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. Like I said, entrepreneurship, it ultimately is about fitness and personal development. And if you don't have your fitness, you can't really do much of anything else. Talk about your journey, how you got started, and how you help clients.
Definitely. Yeah. And I love the analogies between fitness and business. And it's just even better that I'm in the fitness business. But my journey all started with going to college. And before that, I was a martial arts instructor from the age of 13. So when I went to college, the martial arts career didn't really work out for me. The job really didn't work out because of the hours. So I got into personal training, and I was like, man, this is an amazing college job. Like, I can make my own schedule. I can be my own boss to a degree because I work for a corporate company. But I always told myself this is an amazing college job. But what I didn't know was I was starting to find my purpose and my passion in the process. And I ended up switching my my major from business management to kinesiology, which is the study of human movement. And then from there, that led down a series of rabbit holes that's led me to where I am, from switching from corporate to a private gym, building out a whole personal training side of that business, launching a national prep school for basketball athletes, and then opening up my own gym. Or before my own gym, having my own six-figure personal training company, leading into my own gym. And now we actually just launched the franchisor company. So now we're franchising nationwide.
Yeah, and there's a lot to dissect in there, because you started from personal fitness trainer all the way now to business owner, entrepreneur, creating franchise. So I really love that. And the first story, or the first question I have for you, is just what were the mind shifts that made all the difference? Because a lot of people, they start out as entrepreneurs. Really, they are solopreneurs. Basically, they bought themselves another job. They still own their time and freedom, but they still have to trade their time for money. So what are the mind shifts that make the difference to go from personal trainer all the way to franchisor?
Yeah, definitely. And I agree with you so much. There's different mindset shifts, but there's also different levels or different types of entrepreneur, right? There's a self-employed or a solopreneur, who essentially, when I had my six-figure personal training company, that's what I was. And the mindset at that is you're trying to build a business to a degree, right? You're building this business, but you are the business. There is no sick days. There is no PTO and so forth. If you're not working, you're not getting paid. And so that's the first realization, is though you don't have anyone to blame. If things aren't working, you're the only one on the team. That you're the problem if things aren't working. And then taking the next step and going into becoming an actual business owner, right? An entrepreneur level of business owner, and having employees and having an actual location for launching the gym. Then it was shifting your mindset around, you have to solve everything, to you need to create systems and processes so that your team can learn how to do things correctly. Because this is one thing I learned when we started building the franchise side, was I stepped away. My business partner didn't come from the entrepreneurial solopreneur background. He was a W-2 employee, and I convinced him to hop on board with me. And I was doing certain things that I didn't know was common sense to me, only because I knew it. I learned it from the solopreneur side, That's when I learned common sense is only common to the person that knows it. And so you have to have this mindset shift that your team, when you onboard them or you hire someone, they don't know everything. They don't know exactly the way you want things done. And you also can't expect that from them and be like, you know what, it's just gonna be faster for me to do it. Let me just do it real quick. Because now you're the bottleneck to your growth. So that's the next mindset shift, is realizing that you need to delegate. There is a learning curve to it. And then there's the last level of entrepreneurship, or the entry level to the last level, which is going from business owner to actual CEO. A lot of business owners will call themselves a CEO if they have a location or a couple locations and so forth. But there's, yes, on paper you're a CEO, but a CEO of what? Of two people? So it's like, for the franchise, going into that part and actually being a CEO, not, and honestly, the titles don't really mean much to me, but it's the mindset shift that comes with it, right? Because before, everything that I was structured was around my gym, my team, my members, and now it's taking that and restructuring it. How do I take another step back and teach another business owner these same values I have as a business owner, so that they can teach their team, and then their team can teach the members and so forth. So it's almost like, you ever seen that movie Inception?
Yeah.
It's like a level of Inception. Every single time you're going deeper and deeper into it. That's how I try to explain it. It's like you have to get like a zoomed out view, and then a zoomed out view, and a zoomed out view of how you explain everything, and dumb it down as much as possible, because it makes sense to you doesn't mean it makes sense to everyone else.
And really, I love this because all of it, the keyword around the conversation is mindset and mindset shifts. And so what's interesting is there was this great book, Buy Back Your Time, where he's talking about replacing your, learn to replace yourself, learn to fire yourself, like what you were talking about. When I was first starting out, I was always trying to, fire my boss first, fire them so I could go and do my own thing, and then learn how to fire yourself so I can run without you. So next question I have for you is this idea of, when you say business owner versus CEO, to me it's still the same thing, but you say it's different. What are the key differences between those two?
So if you're a solopreneur, like I'm gonna twist back the question on you real quick, right? When you're a solopreneur, you're a business owner, correct?
Technically, yes.
So then, same thing. If you're a business owner, technically on paper, you're a CEO,
Mm.
right? But the difference is, a business owner is the way we're thinking of it is, you have a team, you have employees,
Mhm.
right? But like, when with me and my business partner, when we opened our gym, we didn't call CEO, COO, like, we were owners.
Mhm.
Like, we were co-owners. I was the founder, and we were co-owners after that. And so from there, it's technically, we could have given ourselves CEO, COO, and all that kind of stuff. But what does it matter? So I can tell people I'm a CEO of a single location. Like, what's that? Like, who are you trying to impress? Like, real recognize real at that point. And
Mhm.
so the CEO title comes with the level of scale, right? So it's like, when you have multiple locations and you have to put management under you, if there's no roles under you to fulfill,
Mhm.
then what does that big of a title matter? If you have managers and assistant managers and the district managers and so forth, okay, the chain needs to go higher. There needs to be someone at the top. And that's when those roles start coming. Like, we have a franchise in Tampa. We have two different franchises opening up in Texas. We have one in Washington. Those are all business owners, right? Those are all, like, I'm helping them open their own businesses. So then who am I? I'm the business owner of business owners. Like, it's like the king of kings. And it's like, that's where the CEO of the franchise.
Mhm.
But when people ask me what I am in my gym, I'm an owner. I'm not a CEO of this location.
Interesting.
So it's the mindset comes down with it, because each level you're serving, like, your job as an owner, as a CEO, is to serve and to serve your team, right? And so I ask my trainers and my managers and stuff, what do I need to do, or what things can I help improve your job, your efficiency, your results, right?
Mhm.
Now, the same thing goes for the franchise, but it's a little bit different. How could I make your business more efficient? I'm not asking you about jobs anymore. I'm asking about the full on business.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. And a lot of co-founders, sometimes they go on to be CEOs. Sometimes they, replace. There's a new person come in, and and sometimes the CEO is different than the founder and co-founders.
Mhm.
The other thing is, because personal fitness is actually a great niche to be in, because it's all, be an entrepreneur, and people are dedicated to fixing their bodies, losing weight, getting healthier, getting in shape. in a lot of like parallels with athletics, sports, personal fitness. And one of those is discipline over motivation. And this is really key because January 14th is, they call it National Quitters Day. Is basically everybody's like gung ho for the first 2 weeks. And then now you look at the gym there, it's empty. How do you stay consistent when it matters most?
I will say that the difference between motivation and discipline is motivation is fleeting. Motivation is something that comes and goes. You read an Instagram post, you watch a David Goggins video, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go run right now. I'm gonna do a bunch of pull-ups. But then all of a sudden 10 minutes passes and you're like, oh, actually I'm gonna go in like an hour. And so that's motivation, right? And especially when motivation comes from external factors like those Instagram posts, like those things, like, don't get me wrong, they're cool. They give you that little boost of adrenaline and excitement, but so does a cup of coffee. And so discipline is built off of the doing the things on the days you don't want to do them because you know you need to do them. Right. And so when you start showing up and day after day and you start building that, discipline is basically a habit, something that's formed in a habit. And your discipline will start to form an internal motivation because you start seeing the results that have compounded from you showing up on the days that you don't want to do it or you're too tired to do it. And now you want to see more of it. That is your internal motivation. So that's the difference. Yeah. And so that's the biggest thing is people need to realize is like 2 weeks isn't enough time to change what you've done in the last 10 years or last 5 years, even last year. How can you expect to make a 180-degree turn in 2 weeks? Come on, let's be real. And so you got to realize that's almost like the real threshold is like, how bad do you want it? And you need to realize like you set that goal for a reason. What is that reason? And then once you say what your reason is, why is that your reason? Because most time people give themselves the surface level answer. Oh, I just want to make more money. I want to start a business. I want to look good. And it's okay, but why do you want to look good? What is achieving this goal going to do for your life? And the flip side of that coin, if you don't achieve this goal, what is that going to do to your life? And so when you realize that's what's going to help you show up on the days that you don't feel like it, because believe me, I don't feel like showing up to work every single day. And even I don't have anyone to report to, but I show up because I know I need to for the goals that we have, but also I need to show up for my team. And in fitness, believe me, I work at a gym. I own a gym and I still don't want to work out every single day, but I do it because I know I need to get the results that I want.
Yeah. We have around 2-3 minutes remaining. And the thing is, when people say mental fitness, people think that you're not going to have any setbacks, but you talk about strengthening your mind like a muscle. What is mental resiliency like? You're still going to have those onslaughts of those things that make you grow. So talk about strengthening, what techniques you use to strengthen your mind like a muscle.
So you have to realize that every obstacle put in front of you is this testing point and a learning point for you to grow, from you to extract a lesson that you currently didn't know. That's why it's an obstacle, right? If you already had the resources, you already had the skills, it wouldn't be an obstacle for you. So instead of looking at it as, oh man, why is this happening to me? Look at it as, oh yeah, this is a time for me to learn something. This is a time to become closer to the version of me that I want to become, right? And so you have to realize that you wanted that goal. These obstacles are put in your path so that you can achieve that goal and become the person that you want. But believe me, everyone has setbacks. Everyone has obstacles. You have to realize that it's part of the journey. Things are only worth value that are difficult to achieve. And that difficulty comes from either your time, right? The effort cost or the financial burden that comes along with it. And that's why they're of value. So realize if fitness, you value someone with a six pack because it's hard to have a six pack, right? If everyone just walked around with six packs, you can care less about a six pack. So how bad do you want that goal? And are you willing to spend the cost, time, effort, or money?
Yeah. And lastly, talk about how people can find you and follow you, and what inspiring advice do you have for people that want to become entrepreneurs and go from this solopreneur to business owner to franchisor?
Yeah. So I would say you can follow me. All my social medias, everything is on my website. I made it just an easy place. It's just Devan Gonzalez, DevanGonzalez.com. And that's where everything's at. But I will say the one piece of advice is if you have a goal, if you have a dream and other people are doing it or have done it, then you can do it too. You are not that special, right? And I say that as you are not that special for it not to work out for you and be a possibility for everyone else. You're not that special.
Yeah, I love that. And thanks so much. This conversation was all about mindset and really added value to the audience, and keep up the great work.
Thank you so much for having me.